My best quality is my unwavering allegiance to myself. I know who I am. If you don't or you can't figure it out,
Of course I am. Thank you, Fake. Expert. How is everybody? What up? I hope it's caught up now. Am I good? Am I good? Oh, hey, Fiend. How you doing? Great. I don't know why there's a tiny photo of me up here, but I'm going to try to get rid of it. Weird. Okay. So, I want to start with a video that I'm going to just bust right on into it because I have a call this afternoon. So I have been reading over Tricia Griffith's bizarre attempts to get Beth Bee her estate. And I've gone back and I've reviewed a lot of the original documents, and I don't know if anybody would remember this or not. I was reviewing Jolene's old streams, the ones that have been taken down, where the field trip, and I don't know if anybody remembers if Tricia or Stacy ever mentioned that Daphne Linda and a child were attempting to get at the estate. I don't know. So I'm going to play this video first. We're going to talk about Othram, and then we're going to get into the Beth Bee of it all and where I think this is going. But if anybody can just think for a hot second, if you remember hearing anything in those lives on her little field trips, if she mentioned anything about Linda Daphne and like some daughter. Anyway, all right. So let me bring this up, get rid of me.
Listen up. Every year you host.
Sorry. Let's try that again. Not sure why it's not playing. One moment, please. I don't know why it's not letting me. Here we go. Damn it. Maybe I can pull it up from Kresha's. Let's try something else. Sorry, it's I loaded the. Damn it. I didn't. Classic Overthinker had posted this earlier, and I had been thinking about it, and for some reason I cannot get this to play. Let me try to do this. Okay, it's not gonna let me play it. Damn it. Hang on, we're gonna get this motherfucker. Okay. And I think it's a good setup to talk about. Let me share the screen. Sorry, y'all. I do things classy. So let me. Okay, so can you see the Twitter page? Can Can you see Twitter? Anyone? Okay, let me try it. Let me see if it runs. You can't hear anything? What is going? No sound? Can you hear me? Damn it. Are you shitting me? Can you hear me now, though? Can you hear me, though? No? This is okay. This is pissing me off. Hang on. One moment, please. Man, I had this mother scratcher all queued up. Okay. I am so sorry. This is not getting off to the start I had hoped. Son of a bitch. But this is the video I wanted to play. And let's see if you can hear it now or not. I'm just having like 100 kinds of problems. Do this. Undo this. Sorry, gang.
I'm speaking directly to you now. Listen up. Every year, you host your Not the End of the World.
Can you hear it?
24-hour live stream. You sit on camera. You sleep on camera.
Can you hear it?
And you use the horrific tragedy that Chad and Lori Daybell inflicted on my family members as a backdrop to fundraise. Last year, you used my nephew JJ's school, the Life Academy, which is a good, wonderful school, to raise money. After seeing how you treated Beth Bee's estate, I'm drawing a very hard line right now. Do not dare use my family's names this year. Keep JJ out of your mouth. Keep Tylee out of your mouth. Keep my Uncle Charles out of your mouth. I refuse to allow you to exploit my family's pain or their immense goodness to gain any further support, clout, or financial backing for the Tricia Griffith brand. You do not get to project yourself as a savior or an advocate for victims while you are actively trying to gut an animal shelter's inheritance in probate court. We see you, and we are done.
Okay. All right. So one of the interesting things that I want to point out about this is that yesterday, Tricia posted on her on Web Sleuths that that she was going to take the night off. And she shared on her live stream YouTube that we'll go to her page next because I'm sure it's riveting. But she posted that she and Stacy were taking the night off and that they were getting ready for their big ol' hootenanny for the end of the world, as they continue to do without any sort of blessing from the family. So let me put this up. Let me remove that. And so when I saw this posted by Kresha, and I know Kresha's been, trying to make this hit home with Tricia McFarty Pants. But, last night they posted this. So I'm just going to go look at their page. And so on their public post page, and I'm going somewhere with this. Sometimes we go on a journey, but I'm going somewhere with this. So last night, basically, Stacy and I have taken the night off. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday. Look at the post below this one. Take a trip back to last year and the year before, the 24-hour live stream. We're getting ready for this year's. So I went to their post, and they have, apparently there's like 3 parts of this thing, but they post this teeing up their next, hey, we're going to be doing this soon, right? And I went and I started watching some of this, and I'm going to, there was a few things that I wanted to point out here. And well, there we go. There's Meigs. But the biggest thing that I noticed when I started looking at this is they always say, we're going to raise money for JJ and Tylee school. It's like, or for JJ school. I'm like, okay. But if you look at it, you can see that. How long does it take you to find the link? Now, bear in mind, this has 3 parts to it. This is a 3-part 24-hour live. Okay. So in amongst this whole thing, they bring on the head of Othram, that middleman, and have him talk. They bring on the web sleuth guy, Freeze, or whatever his name is. They talk. It is all about, when you look at least to me, in my opinion, you got to dig to get to JJ's school. But man, oh man, you've got, right up at the top there, you've got donate to DNA Solves, right? Othram. These are all private companies. The only nonprofit is JJ and Tylee, or in JJ's school. And it's the very last thing on the list. You've got to look at, okay, well, here's DNA Solves, here's Othram, here's the Othram DNA kit store. And then you get down to the Lauren Institute, which is the nonprofit. But my point is, just have a live stream raising money for Othram. I don't know. Maybe do that. And the other thing that I want to talk about is how much, and before, here's the thing. The money that Othram has gotten from the federal government is beyond the pale. Othram, I just pulled it up. Othram contract military. Here we go. Yeah, so they got an 800. Remove this. Remove. So, and you can find the contracts online. There's purchase order here for, and this runs through 2030. Now, this seems like a good cause. They're going to try to, go through and do forensic genealogy. A small disadvantaged business. Excuse me? Wait a minute. That's not. Huh? Hang on. Oh, this isn't the official. But you can see that they're getting like close to, over, let's see, $793,000. And that's just one of their contracts. So I would take another quick thought on where you want to spend your money and where you want to donate, because Othram does not need your money. They don't need your donations. They're not donations, okay? Donations imply that you can deduct them from taxes, because that's the benefit of being a tax, a 501c3 or a nonprofit entity, is that people are incentivized to donate because they get a tax. You can have a write-off. Not Othram. Not Othram. Is this the Hollywood ending? Look, I don't know, man, but y'all are gross. And I was talking to a friend of mine who actually went on and signed up to do the total tree call. Man, I would share the screenshot with you, but I don't have permission. But basically, it's nothing. It's essentially nothing. And it's just looks like an Othram landing page. And it's got basically a bullseye in the middle of it. And it's just got a couple of lines like leading to people. But there's been no task assigned. All righty. So they got all the information, which is all they wanted, right? They just want your information. That's all. I mean, okay. All I'm saying is this is part of the same grift, in my opinion. Oh, really? Go on, bite my bits. I signed up. They have no tasks. Yeah, they just want your data, right? How much are they selling your data for? How much are they mining and training? And somebody had mentioned this the other day, training your algorithm. It's gross. Lover of bad puns. Used to be a grant manager. Cannot imagine them having the infrastructure to comply. And you know what? This is interesting that you mentioned this, the infrastructure to comply. Well, I mean, we don't have a government right now that's too concerned about oversight. But I was speaking with somebody the other day that's like, man, they are getting way out over their skis, and had a sense that they're going to burn out. They're going to sell a bunch of stuff that they can't deliver on. I have no idea, but man, another thing I found out is that one of their trademarks for Web Sleuths LLC expired. So go on out there and get you some. So let's talk about what we're all here to talk about. Now, I had mentioned before, let me bring up, I put a link in the chat. Let me see if I can pin it. And it's to a really, here we go. So this is a link that I shared with everybody, and it's Subtxt. And what Subtxt has done is bring together all of the documents from Beth Bee's case, but from all sorts of other cases as well. And I had all of this fucking uploaded, and then I couldn't bring it on screen. So please stand by. And if you go on, let's see, I'm bringing it up. It's very good. It's really well done. And it has everything on there. And I would recommend going and getting all your poop from there, because it's all good stuff. So there's a whole lot of crap on here. And it's not crap, but you know. So let's go to the dockets. There's all sorts. We're going to go to our friend, Farty McGrifterson. And there's all sorts of stuff. I mentioned the other day that I was putting together a list of properties, and Subtxt has started doing that, but it's not quite refined yet. But so subscribe is what I'm saying. But here's the estate of Beth Bee. And so the other live I did the other day was talking about the fact that this case is not over, and about how, you know, I think that that is something that's a bit of a misunderstanding here, that it has to be, I mean, litigated sort of in front. And I mean, it's a hearing, it's a motion hearing to have Tricia removed from the case. Yeah, she should be. And so that's going to be happening August 12th. And I don't know if anybody saw my not at all serious advert for my 24-hour live stream to watch her trial, because, you know, why not? I mean, Lauren got a trial. She left before she had a chance to have everybody watch because law and crime. Why not Tricia? You get a trial. You get a trial. I'm Oprah. You get a trial. Good God. But when I went back and started looking at, and I checked it. So sorry, I checked the docket again this morning, and there's no new filings, because when I saw that Tricia and Stacy were like, hey, we're taking a night off because we're just plumb tuckered out over here. I was like, did they have to do some work for filing court documents? Look, where's my banner? This is my speculation, in my opinion, man. So, but I was like, huh, that's weird. Also, you know, when Tricia was out the other day at Crimecon handing out her cards with her phone number on it, I did call her. And she didn't answer, which whatever. But I did ask her. I left my name and my phone number because I'm not going to misrepresent who I am. And so I called her, and I just left a message. I'm like, my name is Andy. And I don't remember if I left my last name. Probably not. I just said, this is Andy. You know, you were handing out your cards with your phone number on it, saying if people wanted to know the truth, to call you. And so I'm calling you, and here you can call me back. Now, was I expecting her to call me back? Kinda, because she's kind of, look, it was a crapshoot. Why not? If you're walking around I'm not going to give you my phone number unless I expect you to follow up on it. And she was like, right? So why not? People do want to know the truth. And why? It's because you have a pattern and practice of taking advantage of a community that should never be taken advantage of, lady. But you know, I've made a lot of uncomfortable calls. I've done a lot of uncomfortable things and met with uncomfortable people in my career. I don't care. Look, if she could show me something, great. Prove it. Just straight ass prove it then. Give me a call back. You have my phone number. Do it, lady. That's fine. Woman. Yay. Hello. Where's your wrench? Huh, that's weird. So yeah, I called her. But anyway, I don't know if that's either here nor there. But I wanted to know, what is the truth? And I did kind of say, now, are we talking about the truth about Beth Bee, or what are we talking about, Susan? Because I mean, there's so many, and I wasn't being funny about it. It's like, what exactly is your truth? I'm like, are you coming out of the closet? Because, okay, I don't know, allegedly. What truth? What weird truth are you talking about? Anyway, so that's just all to say. I tried to call her because I was like, dude, if you can give me a decent answer, because you're very clearly wanting to clear some air. Yay, happy Pride. I don't know. I don't know why woman, you should have a wrench. My girl. Damn it. Oh well. Which version of exactly? Heyo. How y'all doing? Happy Pride. We are inclusive and not dicks over here. So anyway, so let's talk about the Grifty McFarterson of it all. And so, you know, I was going back through Jolene's lives and I was trying, maybe Olaf knows, maybe you remember from having to listen to all this shit, but do you remember if Tricia, during any of her now stricken live streams, ever mentioned Linda Daphne having a child? Because for some reason that is sticking in my head and I cannot figure out why that is. Except when I went to, let's see, let's just go back to the very beginning of the docket. And then I want to talk about too, because the other day we were talking about the phone and the fact that Tricia admitted that she just straight jacked the phone. She can say all day long that that Beth Bee wanted her to have it. That doesn't negate the fact that she told an audience of God knows how many people in her live streams that she went back after the woman died. After the woman died, was still, and she, if I remember correctly, said she was still laying in bed and she looked great, you know, for a dead gal. And I'm paraphrasing, but she went back and got her phone, and I think she said her purse too. And I could be misremembering that. So she did. She said which part? The part about going and get jacking the phone, or about some crazy kid or daughter? I mean, right? Lover of bad puns. Imagine. Oh, I'm deceased. Holy shit. Yeah. Can you? So Ancient Teapot's coming in hot. Yep. She said phone and purse, AKA the cat lady said both, which still doesn't help me. Do you mean the purse and the phone, or purse, phone, and child of Linda Daphne? And I think it might matter because of some of her original filings. So we go to the docket. Yeah, I don't remember. I was going through Jolene's lives and stuff. I don't know. Kyle the kidney, sure. Yeah, her purse too. I mean, and so we'll talk about evidence, because I went and I looked up the rules in Texas for probate and admissibility, because, you know, you can't admit something if it was obtained by sketchy means. So this is going back to her first notice. So this was 11/5/2025. So this is when she just goes in and says, it's me, all mine, all mine. Here's what I think that Beth Bee has. I want also like the account number, which she had, which is weird. I guess LPL Financial. Now this is the retirement account, I think. And then she's just listing out all this shit. So now this is all redacted from the Subtxt website, but what we know is that when you go on and you pull the actual documents, the actual names come up, and that's okay. It's public court records, but I don't know if I really want to put Linda Daphne on blast. So necessity, let's go down to here. She's stating all this stuff, just sort of the general information that you need to file what she thought was a person's estate that was intestate, meaning that Tricia didn't know she didn't have a will. She likes to say that she knew that she had a will and that Tricia was going to have her Hollywood ending, but you know, not so much. So this is where she really starts the narrative. And I also wonder why she waited until November. Well, whatever. The decedent name, address. Here she tries to estimate the property. Necessity exists. Now this is the good one here. Necessity exists for administration of the decedent's estate. Specifically, applicant avers that the creditor and or distributee of the portion of decedent's estate. Applicant has reason to believe that third parties are currently engaging in actions that may result in waste, fraud, or conversion. Conversion is basically theft. I mean, you know, it's what it sounds like. Of all the decedent's estate. So this is where she starts naming names. And the two names listed are Daphne, right? Linda, and we know her name's Linda Mills. And what looks to be a child of Linda. Okay. So you can see, actually, let me see if I can pull up the actual, because I think, God, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about having to pull her actual name. Well, it's all public record. Who gives a shit, right? Here we go. So if we go to probate court, let's just do a little, do a smart search. Janet, nope. We only know this because Tricia told us all about it. All right. So let's see if there's anything new in the last 20 minutes. Nope. So the application for heirship, let's do this. You see why does it take so long? Okay. Takes so long to load. So let me just see here. Okay. Sorry, it's pulling it up in Acrobat, which is fine, but I just need to switch my screens. But you can see, so while we're in here, you just go to Dallas County Courts Portal, dallascounty.org, and it's probate court number 3. It has everything. It has the entire timeline. It has everything. Or again, Subtxt has it all on her amazing site. So let's add this because I want to show you the thing, because you know that, okay, let me back up. The thing that Tricia keeps saying is that they were proving hardcore fraud. That, man, oh man, when people got a hold of all of this information that she and Stacy got into through Janet's phone, which to me sounds an awful lot like absconding with a dead woman's belongings from a hospital room. But she said that they found some hardcore fraud. They found some hardcore fraud. And I'm like, okay, maybe. Look, I said the other day that it's possible that two things, they could both be dirt bags. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But to me, when you say things like, we've proved hardcore fraud, we have all of these documents, it would be in the filings. And if I had proof of hardcore fraud of a friend of mine's estate, I would bring it directly to probate and file it. But she didn't do that. She didn't do that part. So that's what I'm trying to remember. If she mentioned, it seems like she was using like a scattergun approach when she did her first lives, when the field trips. She was trying to paint a very, very distinct picture of the situation, and that it wasn't her and Stacy who were doing things that were legally questionable at best, right? She tried to paint Daphne Linda, and I swear to God, she said Daphne and her daughter. And I was trying to listen to Jolene's lives and I can't find it. But this is why I want to bring up the actual document from that's unredacted. And I know some people are squishy, icky about that, but it is public record. So, remove, add. Okay. So this is the same document that's on Subtxt docket. But this has the actual names of the folks involved, or the folks that Tricia's alleging are. Okay, hang on. Yes, she briefly mentioned the kid. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not Stacy's son. That Daphne Linda. So sorry if I'm confusing people. I thought that Tricia said during one of her field trips that Daphne Linda and Daphne Linda's child. Oh, okay. Okay. If you remember, I was trying to figure that out. So this would make sense then. Because she was, and this is all, again, just speculation. All right. But I kind of thought that was the case. So let me take myself and make myself teeny tiny. I'm going to turn myself off. Just going to chat you through everything. So the reason why that struck me is because the original filing mentions, and again, this is the same one that's on Subtxt, is 11/15/2025. Okay. Applicant, blurgity blurg, whatever. Then you have their naming, right? Linda Miles and Riley Mills. I'm sorry, Linda Mills and Riley Mills. Okay. And again, YouTube, I swear to God, this is public information. Okay. This is for educational purposes only. It's a public website. Anybody can go onto it. Okay. So my point is that Pat went ahead and called out these two people. Okay. and then went on to allege, but also notice that this was included in here, that that's where they were to be served. You remember when Tricia said that Daphne didn't know anything about this because she doesn't pay attention to these things, or she doesn't know about these things? I'm sorry, ma'am, you had to serve her, and you said it in number 2 in your document, application for determined heirship. Number 2, who may be served, right? We're not idiots. That's right. This is all public information. Shit, man, I can even drop it in the chat. Copy and paste. So, yeah, I don't know how old Linda is, but so that's the, just doing a little walking here. Sorry. That is Linda's kid. So I thought that was interesting because I'm like, kind of remembered that. Wasn't sure though. Yeah, Tricia. So yeah. Oh, okay. And so this is the public website, okay, that Tricia directed us to. But I think it's interesting because does anybody remember reading this in the beginning when Jolene went through all the documents? Because I don't know if I remembered it. And so when I went back and started digging through things to find out about the rules of evidence and how that jacked phone's evidence could possibly be presented, that's when I reread this and I'm like, wait a minute. They listed, Tricia listed that what I assume is it has to be because I actually looked this person up. Linda Daphne's son. Okay. Now, this is important to me because Linda Daphne's son ain't a great person. Now, I'm just going to say it. Unfortunately, the feller ain't that great. He has checkered past, and look, those among us who've not been at one point in their lives terrible people or done things that we're ashamed of, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. But the only reason I think that it matters in the arc of this narrative, and if you go to the docket, you can go find this guy's name, you can see what he's alleged to have done. But I think that Tricia knew it. I think Tricia knew that maybe Linda had a kid that was in and out of problems with the court. And she's like, man, this is just going to prove even more how shitbaggy, right? Sorry, let me look at the chat. You guys are saying yes. Tricia said she had an iPad, right? Okay, so you read it. Yeah. If I'm an elderly woman, I might need help with the administration of the state. It doesn't sound fishy to me. Which part doesn't sound fishy? The part where Tricia, you have to be more specific. Right. So here's the thing, right? It doesn't. So let me get clear here. Okay. We're going to go back to subtext. So let me make this clear because I'm kind of all over and that's my bad. So let's get clear on what's going on here. Is Tricia, who has absolutely no interest whatsoever that she can show the court in a dead woman's estate who has this history of taking money and on and on and on, files in probate court into a woman asking to be appointed an heir, that it was an emergency to prevent waste, fraud, or conversion. So no, it's unfortunately, and you know what? No, that her daughter is like, no. And I think, and I'm going to tell you why, OMG, thank you for clarifying, is because Tricia, when she went back and filed, dropped the kid's name. Right. And, why would you do that? And so I started digging around and pulled up this guy, and it's a son. It's her son, Daphne's son. And yeah, he's done some seriously bad shit. He has beaten the shit out of some people. I mean, and again, these are all public record, and I don't know exactly what he was actually found guilty of or not, but the charges are quite a few. So I think that having a shitty son doesn't make the parent a shitty parent or a shitty person. So anyway, that was my only point, is that in Tricia's way of thinking, oh my God, this guy's been in trouble with the law before. Right. And his latest, if I'm remembering correctly, I think his last run in with the law was like around 2018 or something like that. Anyway, the point is that Tricia dropped his name off of it. But Tricia doing that stream on her way to Beth Bee's house, you know, maybe she thought Linda Daphne's son was involved. Here's what I do know. There's nothing that exists that says that anything happened there. Okay. She did. She actually, and we're going to get to this. So she did. Yeah. And I'm going to get to this part, lover of bad puns. So does that make sense? Any beneficiary person under the will contests the validity of the instrument or any of its provisions. Okay, I don't know what that means. They're not applying to be beneficiaries. So anyway, so she was applying for heirship and for emergency access to be the administrator of the will. Because apparently she was freaked out that she thought that her gravy train was going away. So what happened then is, if we go back to, so I'm pointing that out because she did mention a child, I believe. And I think that she conflated a couple different things. And again, I don't know, man. Like I said in my other live stream about this, they could all just be a bunch of dirt bags, but that's not what I've gotten. And I looked up Linda Daphne on the broker's website, and she does have some dings in her 47-year career. And you can look that up at FINRA, FINRA.org or .gov. And so you can look at brokers. Yes. Okay. Right. No contest. Yeah. And it was really clear. Sanitary pads. That sounds great. Yes. No. And I know exactly what you're Ew. Why would you share that, right? Oh, Anders Gustafson, your little kitties. Why? Oh, no. Yeah. I so lover of bad puns. I suspect Tricia may be the one putting in Goosebumps LLC, right? Okay, thank you. Tricia Griffith, thank you. I think so too. I think that she pulled him into it trying to discredit Linda Daphne, which is that's not cool, man. Right? That's not cool, man. Yeah. So, anyway, so let's just jog on here. So when Tricia was saying shit like, oh, Linda Daphne knows nothing about this. She doesn't know anything. Well, bitch, you had her served. I mean, you had her served. So, huh? Right? I mean, you had that. It's in your first fucking filing, ma'am. Jesus Christ. She knows nothing about it. She doesn't know anything about this. And if she does, I hope she's watching. What? You filed in a court of law, ma'am. You filed that they needed to serve X, Y, and Z people because you were going to go out there and straight up murk a fool, allegedly, for entertainment. Gross. So then you remember that, and so Daphne responds to this. Let's get to that original answer. So if you hearken back with me, if you will, to when Tricia tried to say, no, we're not going to be doing any more of this court stuff. There was a court date, but I had to push it back and blah, 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 blah. Do we remember that part of the whole situation? Well, what does it say? I'm not about being wrong, but that's how we read it. And she was an attorney in Texas. Huh? I'm not sure what that's about. Did I do something wrong? If it's still possible. I need to understand. And what am I missing? Yeah, so great. Okay. So she was saying that there was a hearing and then I had to reschedule it and then I'm dropping the case. So not really though, because all of this here on Subtxt page, like there's return notices. They had to put like all of this stuff is like posting of a notice that the will was, or that the estate was being contested. Like you have to file that stuff and you have to print a notification. That's part of probate. When my dad died, that's the shit that you just have to do that so that anybody that claims to be a debtor against the estate has a certain amount of time, usually a year, where, I'm familiar with, to come and say, hey, this person actually owes me X, Y, and Z amount of money from X, Y, and Z. So that all has to be published. And so that's what all this junk is. Service return. Okay. Notice of court proceeding. So this is, the order that was filed on. So remember, her first filing was on 11/5, and then a hearing was set, a notice of court proceeding, or this is a request. Basically, you're notified that a hearing of a creditor's first amended application for letters of administration, application temporary administration, will be set for Wednesday, December 10th. Will be held in person and gives all the et cetera, such and such as. And so this is her lawyer, this Strand law firm. Okay. So there's that. And then we go back to on the same day. Is this the original image? So this is the answer from Linda Daphne. And this is on the very same day as the order was entered for a hearing. Now, none of this needs to be necessarily nefarious or weird. Sometimes shit just happens to hit the docket when it hits the docket or get filed when it gets filed. It just does. So this is Linda Daphne coming forward and saying blank. All right. And so this is Linda Daphne. And as an agent for, and this is the child. Okay. This is where Linda Daphne makes her first saying, and she's speaking for herself and for her child here, acting as agent for. File original answer and general denial to Tricia McFarpant's application to determine heirship and creditor's first amended application. Letters have been all the other things. Would show this court the following. Respondents deny every and each allegation contained in the plaintiff's application for heirship and the applications for letters of temporary administration and demand strict proof by a preponderance of the evidence of all plaintiff allegations, if plaintiff can do so. Zing! I love that. That is so, like, that's like a slow rolling, go jump off a cliff, right? If plaintiff can do so. Respondents deny each and every, if I were Linda Daphne, I'd be pissed that you brought my not so great once in the past kid into this. Number one, don't do that. That's disgusting. You trash heap of a human. Here's the thing, Tricia. If you thought that something was going on, go to the cops. Jesus Christ. Go to the goddamn cops. If you thought that there was waste, fraud, and conversion going on, why is your first choice to go to a lawyer? Why is that your first fucking choice? It's gross. And who the hell's paying for your lawyer? Is it Othram? Because I assume it has to be, which is, I mean, look, assuming, allegedly, all of the disclaimers, but who the hell is paying for it? General denial. Deny each and every allegation contained in the application for heirship by a strict preponderance of the evidence. Preponderance, right? I mean, it's not even beyond a reasonable doubt because we're in civil court, right? Just show me that something that you're alleging, ma'am, person who has absolutely no tie to this person except for taking all sorts of money from them when your roof caved in and moving your ass all the way down to goddamn doodly ding dongs in Dallas or wherever the hell you live. Go to the cops if you're such a big badass that's entitled to this shit. God, man, stop abusing the legal system for Christ's sake. Yeah. Now this is the part that we will get to in the end. Respondent respectfully requests that upon final hearing of this cause, which could be, now look, I'm throwing this in there and this is my just spitballing, which could be that August 12th hearing date because it's on the calendar. Okay. I haven't seen any filing back from Tricia yet, her lawyers. Respondents respectfully request, and again, remember, this is Linda Daphne. Respondents respectfully request that upon final hearing of this cause, plaintiff take nothing and that respondents be awarded attorney's fees, costs of court, and such other further relief to which respondents may be entitled at law or in equity. Ooh, yikes. Inequity. Ooh. Holy crap. That equity is a whole other kettle of fish. I mean, I don't know. American law is weird, right? So I don't know. It's a state by state thing, I assume, but equity steps in. I mean, equity follows the law. Okay. But equity steps in to right a wrong. And if Linda's throwing that in there, and maybe that's just standard practice for Texas, I don't know, not a lawyer, hashtag just UK law, and international law stuff. But they're asking for any and all remedies at law or in equity. So, you know, if there's a determination made, what that suggests, unless it's just bog standard for the United States to do this, and again, I don't know, equity means you're asking for the court to step in and make a judgment. Certainly, they request attorney's fees, and certainly they're requesting court filing fees, which is proper. Then they go further and say law and equity. So Texas Penal Code, okay, 33.08. Is it the well, we can do that right now. But let's do this first. Hang on. I was going to go to Dallas County probate courts. I wanted to talk quickly about well, I'm going to have to do that in a little bit. Let me see what y'all are saying. So Tricia mentioned $1 million, a house, a Cadillac, and an IRA, but I'm not sure. I don't know, man. That's not what's in the IRA. I have no idea what's in the IRA. But you know, let's see. Can you just give me a hint as to what this is? I can't go look it up at the moment. Yeah, and the estate sale. So here's the other thing too, is that I was just thinking back on all of this, and aside from the filings, you know, it's unclear from anything that, and this is, I do really hope that this gets hashed out in front of a court, or at least like ADR. I don't know. I think that there's actually a meet and confer requirement. I know that in like states like Minnesota, they passed a law to you have to go, if it's a civil suit, it might be different for probate. I don't know how they handle things, but if it's the judge can assign a mandatory arbitration or mandatory mediation to reach a settlement. But it seems like we're kind of beyond that phase at the moment, but nothing's ever done until, you know, the court date. Even then it can be sorted out at the end. Oh, maybe. Nice. Hey, Molly Colleen, how are you? So let's talk then. So all of this to say is that when Linda Daphne first makes her appearance, essentially just says, get the fuck out. And this is exactly what it says in the document. Just kidding. But it says, go fuck yourself. And court, yeet this lady. Oh, and then on top of it, give me all the things back that they have taken from me, such as my attorney's fees, court costs, and other relief further to respondents may be entitled at law or in equity. Because, you know, they made a lot of big ass claims. Which, yuck. would not want to be around there. I mean, it raises, the thing about this, Quinn, is that it raises an interesting question, though. And why didn't Daphne go to the cops? Ugh. I mean, look, Tricia is the dirtbag here. Linda has nothing. Tricia's the dirtbag here. I'm just thinking from that perspective. I would have, but you know what? If she's an older lady, now I can see it. I can see her not wanting to deal with it. Never mind. But yeah, so I was just thinking out loud because at my age right now, no, I would have walked straight into the precinct and said, hey, this lady won't give my dead friend's phone back. Oh, and her purse, allegedly, because she said from her own mouth hole, I went and I got all this stuff. So yeah, so that's what that was. And so the hearing that was scheduled, if you remember, is the original. So here we are at the original answer. Now, at the same time, or right thereafter, the court hearing did not happen. Okay, because that was sent for December 10th. Canceled. Okay. Don't know why. There's not an explanation. So, but going back up here, all of this stuff right here is what, Linda Daphne filed. So this is all Linda Daphne coming in with all of this shit. Now, she filed the application for a probate and will with the annexed will. Okay, notice of application to probate the will. Correspondence, I believe that was with the animal shelter, the 2011 will, the cover letter request for the filing of the last will, and then the actual last will. So all of this, if I were to read the room, says that it was probably going along, because if we look at this timeline, at least to me, this timeline is very tight for Linda Daphne to go and round up all this information in reaction to a court order, right? To me, anyway, this seems, I mean, that's from 11/5/2025 until 11/19 into 12. So December 1st, 2025. That seems like an awful quick turnaround for Daphne to find or to get a lawyer, have a lawyer, put together this correspondence from, I believe, yes. So she started filing all this stuff that she wanted to probate the will, putting it into the Zeitgeist, cover letter, 2011 will, correspondence, notice of application to probate will. So yeah, so that seems like a really quick turnaround time to get all of that stuff together. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. So, and again, I mentioned the other day about this vacation stuff. Let's talk about vacation stuff. So the vacation order is, as I said, just a vacation. Trying to find the let me say, talk amongst yourselves. Okay. So this is court procedures and processes, right? So does this have So this is something I wanted to pull up because I talked about the evidence, right? And how one can enter any evidence, real or imagined, between Stacy and Tricia from a phone that was obtained under questionable circumstances that would come under significant scrutiny before it even crossed the threshold of a court. So here's just sort of the, court procedures. And then there's the, let me file the court rules. Okay. So the vacation letter, we'll start there. And we talked about this the other day, and Lori Hellis, real or imagined, right? So vacation letters, when I was going through that, it looked like a motion to vacate. And I was like, that's kind of where I think that it went off the rails a little bit with whatever. And Lori Hellis came in and left a little note on that video saying thanks, and she's in the middle of like health issues, obviously. But so just blowing through the top line from the docket page, it would appear that vacation could be vacate, but it's actually in the probate rules, vacation letters reads as follows. An attorney may reserve up to 3 weeks in any calendar year for vacations by filing a vacation letter, reserving weeks in which no hearings, depositions, or trials are set in the date of the letter. Once the letter is on file, any hearings, depositions, or trials set during the reserved weeks may be reset upon request unless objection is filed and sustained upon notice and hearing. Ta-da! So we did confirm that. I confirmed that before with the court, but there it is in the rules, in probate rules. And so this is actually a very, for absolute nerds, go ahead, have yourself a looky-loo at local rules of the statutory probate courts in Dallas County, Texas. They're top-notch, give you all the deets. And this is the kind of shit I could read all day long, which makes me an absolute joy. Let me see if the if the rules of evidence are in here, if that's okay. Ooh, use of media at a trial. Okay. Testimony in support of heirship application. Let's take a look at that and see what this has to say, shall we? Is this page 19? Nope. Oh, wait. Rules of evidence. Sorry. I guess it's expressly provided otherwise. In Texas, the state codes, Texas rules of civil procedure, and Texas rules of evidence are as amended. From time to time, the rules apply in all proceedings. Okay. All righty. Introduction of short hearing, Texas rule of evidence. So filing of discovery and related materials. I mean, if they're going, so the next thing that would have to happen is typically, at least again, what was I going to say? So with the filing of any evidence, so let's say that the plaintiff, here it's Tricia, but let's just make up a name called Smisha. Smisha. Schmitha. No. She needs to bring forth her evidence to show that she is owed heirship. Well, so what is that, right? They have to meet the rules of evidence. So that would have to be something that is filed typically. And let's see if they have it. Usually it says in here how long before the hearing date, but usually it's about a month. Again, in my experience, not a lawyer, hashtag not a lawyer, hashtag oldest law student ever. Filing of a motion to quash, blurgity blurg. Okay, Texas rules of witnesses. Okay. Okay. Counsel intending to offer video depositions or other media at trial, except for those offered solely for impeachment. But see, this is, okay, so this, I'm getting the cart before the horse here. This is, the hearing that's coming up is one to, let's see, the motion. Hearing scheduled. So the hearing scheduled, I'm getting the cart before the horse. The hearing is scheduled for August 12th. So and we haven't seen where there's been a response to this notice for the virtual hearing. Let's see. Virtual court proceeding. So we already have this, that Linda has filed this appearance by remote hearing. Now, I don't know what the rules are on having to reply, but I would assume at this point, the lawyer should be speaking. I mean, truly, they should be speaking about how they're going to move forward, because the one thing that I do, yes. So yeah, but here's the thing about that, and so Tricia's going to have to make a decision how hard she wants to ride this thing, because, you know, when she made that filing about the objection, so that's important. She's like, came back after Linda Daphne filed all this stuff and said, nope. Whether a creditor is an interested person, right? So this was filed back in April after she told the world and their wife that she had actually dismissed these charges, or that she had actually walked away from this case. After she did that she didn't. She came back and she filed an objection. Sure, she dropped all the bad fraudy stuff, because how are you going to prove that, boo? Right? Comes now Tricia Griffith, and I'm going to just file an objection. Heard on other suits. Written opposition. So she's filing this opposition. And what I kind of talked about this the other day, but what she's saying is like, look, I know that I wanted to dismiss all this other crap, all the fraud stuff and everything else, but I'm still asserting that I am a creditor. And not only am I a creditor, therefore I have standing, right? Because you have to have standing. So she's saying I have a right to come to you, court, and say I have an interest here. Therefore, I can file into this case, continuing, and make an objection. Even though I've dropped all that other stuff. Even though I've been like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Where is it? Non-suit. And this notice of non-suit is Tricia's lawyer on May 14th saying that, you know what? Files notice of non-suit, does not wish to continue to pursue the application to determine heirship that she filed on the 5th of November. so she doesn't want to be named the heir anymore, basically, that she had applied for in her first filing. Nor does she want to be appointed administrator anymore in the first amended application. Oh, and also she said, I guess, don't need an application for temporary administration, an appointment for temporary administrator. And also, does not wish to continue to pursue the application for emergency orders to prevent waste, fraud, and conversion. But, and this is, everybody's got it. I always think about Pee Wee Herman and Pee Wee's Big Adventure when he's sitting with Simone as the sun is rising in the east, and they're sitting in the dinosaur's mouth. And Simone looks at Pee Wee and says, "What's your dream, Pee Wee?" And he says, "Sometimes I have dreams about a snake wearing a vest." And she's like, "No, that's not what I'm saying." But he says, "We all have big butts." All right, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this is my mind. I'm sorry. Application for emergency. So this non-suit, right, was filed. Let's go back up here. Where the hell they go? Oath of administration. So this came, so right here is the return of the published citation. So, and the proposed oath of the distributee's consent. So this is where the animal shelter is like, hey, we're going to get all of this stuff. We are the animal shelter through the city of Cedar Hill via the Tri-State Animal Shelter. And we're the only, we're the named beneficiary. And we're cool with Linda Daphne being appointed, and we're ready to go ahead and receive this funds, So Daphne Linda files all that 12/11 through, let's see, January, February. Okay, so they file all that stuff up until in February. So everything sits there for a while. March, April. So 2 months later, that's when she files the creditor's objection. Then saying, yeah, I may have, I'm still objecting. I'm still objecting to this situation. Now, what they're trying to do with this notice of non-suit, you need to look at this part. Tricia Griffith petitions the court to dismiss this case without prejudice. Ding, ding, ding. So she still wants a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. If she had actually, so the creditor's objection, she's saying, no, it's not, because she dropped that. See, this comes first in the series. And everybody should look at the docket for themselves or subtext for themselves. But this is them saying petitions the court to dismiss this case without prejudice. So that means that she wants another chance. She wants to be in it to win it, because otherwise, right. Wait. Are you talking about what we just looked at? Cover the letter and hearing document, proposed order. hang on a second. Let's see. Creditor's objection. Oh, please stand by. No, I know. That's a completely different thing. But they're all within the same document. Which is what we were looking at. Hang on one second. I have a husband that's come home. Okay, so going back to the notice of non-suit, okay, and this came after the creditor's objection. And without prejudice is just saying, hey, I want to come back and you know, go ahead and I want to reserve the right to bring this back, basically, is what it is. I want to reserve the right and maintain my ability to bring this case again if I need to. With prejudice would be, get out of here, you're done. I'm done, I'm dropping it. So, you know, that would have been dropping the actual whole thing. Here, the door is ajar. Oh my God. Wait, what is happening? Okay, I'm confused. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with all of that. You're going to have to say what though, right? So it doesn't even reference it. What doesn't? So let's get down to the brass tacks here. What are you talking about? Because now I'm curious. Maybe I'm missing something. What am I missing? Okay, hang on. 1 second. So here again, I'm just going to pull this up. And it's pretty straightforward. if you're not looking at your screen, but what this is the list in order, in chronological order of the filings. Okay. So this is the chronological order of filings. So got to give me a minute. Right. Oh, okay. Right. Right. That's why it says without prejudice, right? And the chronology actually is very helpful and important. So anyway, the notice of the creditor's opposition was in April. And then 2 weeks later was the non-suit where she said, oh, but I'm not going to pursue this, this, or this. Her objection still stands. The application for non-suit says without prejudice, meaning, hey, I want to keep keep on trucking here. And then the motion in limine is the one that came after that, which is basically saying, you know, she has no standing to come forward. In this case, Tricia Griffith has a creditor's objection. So that's what, see, that's highlighted here. So the creditor's objection and opposition, that's what this is going to address. And so the non-suit leaves all the doors open for, you know, essentially the other horrible things that they've alleged. And God, who knows? I mean, if she can prove them up, great. But this is directly taking on that creditor's objection. Because what Tricia said in that creditor's objection is like, I don't want Linda Daphne because she's a meanie. Then she said, but if she is going to be appointed judge, then I would like some oversight of her. Or really, why don't you appoint an independent arbitrator or an independent, whatever they call it. Okay. So that is what this hearing is about. So, you know, so the, one moment. So that is what is coming up. And that is supposedly going to be on, let's see, August 12th. Okay. So you can just see here that, again, the non-suit, and I would subscribe to this Subtxt GitHub, or just go straight on over to the Dallas County. So let's see. So to address all of the stuff about the alleging of fraud and things like that, this is general. So when going back to the creditor's objection and opposition, it seems to be statutorily right language here about suspected fraud by proposed executor. Now, the other thing, though, is that in suspected fraud and proposed executor, the court should have the exercise to appoint state authority to deny any appointment disqualifications. So this is the thing, right? Is that what is this loophole, or what are they trying to thread? Because following this, the objection is saying, let me find it. Stand by for ambulance. So from March 29th to May, that's when the non-suit. So this is dismissing all the other crap and relying just on the creditor's objection. Because if you remember in the earlier filings, it was rough. I mean, she was including the child and all of the, and it's not a child, the adult child, and all this other stuff, and just reading her for filth. So now it's down to the creditor's objection. And the issue is going to be, is she an interested person? Right? Texas court recognizes standards governing disqualification. Okay. So she's going to have to bring the goods. And this says statutory remedies to protect creditors from mismanagement, Texas case law. Well, that an executor without bond, and that was actually filed in the Tri-County Animal Shelter guy said that, something without bond. But anyway, that's like way weedy, beyond my comprehension. But the thing is that, they do put everything in here and the kitchen sink. So, yeah, I'm alleging mismanagement or fraud or suspected fraud. But, during administration, probate supervises, like, let's put some caveats, let's put some guardrails. And as alternative, so you see alternative relief. So they want the alternative is that she's asking that there be an independent executor, anybody but Linda Daphne. She's like, no, I'm not requiring heirship anymore. I'm not requiring to be assigned to have charge over everything that isn't nailed down anymore. Just not Linda Daphne. Right? Creditor's filing is procedurally proper. Right. Creditor alleges, right, the decedent's financial advisor misappropriated decedent's property during her lifetime and after her death by several means, designating herself as signatory and or beneficiary on the decedent. So this is what they were talking about. So they're going to have to bring this. They're going to have to figure out a way to bring this into court. Right? So all of this stuff that she's still challenging, yeah. Suspected fraud. But the thing is, how do you prove it? How is she going to approve? How is she going to prove that? I'm curious to know. Because what I want to know is, was the lawyer working on contingency? Right? It's just, right. It's not. Yeah, it's all in there. It's in the vacation letter wasn't a vacation letter. The dropping of the non-suit was just cleaning up. Thank you. Yeah. It was just cleaning up all the previous stuff that she filed, putting it into an objection, which is just another way of going about. Well, it's not exactly the same thing, but to me, it says Tricia wants a chance at proving her case to an independent executor because she's making all of these claims. So, it is going to be interesting to see how this proves out. More than, is it going to be, yeah, you're right. So Linda's lawyers only do estate planning. Tricia's lawyers do everything. Yeah. Exactly. No, you're fine, please. I need to not look at chat. My God, I'm a mess. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because if there is going to be a hearing on this motion in limine brought forward by Linda Daphne, discovery is going to have to be done probably a month before. So the lawyers have to be chitter chatting. Let me see if I can find the actual. Let me go back to the rules. Now I've got to know. When does evidence need to be in? Let's go back to this. Motion for summary judgment, contested matters, right? And this is on the Dallas County website. Agreed scheduling orders. Okay. Let's see. What? Holy shit. Wow. Submission of exhibits. If any proposed exhibits are to be considered for administration into evidence, please ensure that personally, okay, HIPAA compliant. Yep. Meets standards required by Fifth Court of Appeals regarding electronic documents. Ooh, audio and video evidence. Yikes. Please email your proposed exhibits to the court reporter as soon as possible. God, they have up until 3 days prior? What? Holy shit. Wow. Huh. That is fascinating. But they should do they have to do 15 plus filings, annual accounting, small estates, last minute revisions. Sorry, reading aloud. Wow. Holy crap. That's interesting because I don't know. I just, again, that seems like an incredibly generous. That's real generous. But I mean, I guess it's, wow. Isn't it? Doesn't that seem wild? So I'm going to have to go look at the actual, it says as soon as possible. So this order, I mean, I thought for sure it's like you got to give a month, and even a month is rough depending on the number of exhibits because all that shit has to be collated and whatever. So, I think that there was something in the actual rules too. Let me go back to the rules of procedure here, because I think that, is there mandatory arbitration, motion to show cause. Nope. What's this one? God, now I'm like, ugh. Evidence. Let's just see what else it says. Texas rules of evidence, probate. Okay. Witness evidence. What about discovery? Fine. Okay, so discovery, though, let's see. Filing of discovery. Presenting application for temporary. Okay, that's not what we need. Contested matters. Service of pleadings within 30 days. Okay, here we go. Any pleadings? Okay. All right. So this is more what I'm thinking. So evidence is, you have to disclose. So it's 303 contested matters, subsection B, service of pleadings within 30 days of trial. So that 30 days of trial, it's a contested matter, including, so that would include, they would have to submit, both sides, at least 30 days of trial, hearing, whatever. If they plan to bring forward witnesses, exhibits, they have to put all of that into writing and file it. Objections, motions, response, discovery requests shall be transmitted in a manner that will ensure receipt of pleadings to the other party on or before the date of the deadline for service unless otherwise permitted by court order. Okay, so that makes sense. So, but then so you have to tell everybody, they got to get together and decide, go through and figure out what the discovery is. And so they will be able to submit evidence. So they're going to say, so let's say she says, I'm going to submit this crazy screenshot that Stacy took as my evidence. You're going to list that on your evidence list or on your whatever. Or I'm going to bring so-and-so as a witness. Well, then you have to put that on your witness list because you have to disclose that between the parties. And so that has to be happening within the next month. I mean, August 12th. So middle of July, some of this stuff is going to have to start being filed. I don't know. I guess it's going to have to be public. Is it going to be public? Everything, right? Well, it is, but unless, right? So it is different, but you know, they're going to, if you think about, I guess I think about it this way, like motion and limine hearing, the only thing that, because Linda Daphne is proposing to yeet Tricia from any and all, and to address directly that motion to the objection, creditor's objection. So Tricia's going to have to bring evidence to show that she has a right to be heard. And because the motion in limine is directly targeting that creditor's objection, she can't just sling up and say, well, she can sling up and say, no, I don't have any evidence. I'm just suggesting that. And I mean, she could say, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I couldn't really put anything together. It's just kind of a hunch. Well, then what? Right. But she would have to, because the direct challenge that Linda Daphne has put forward is to that creditor's objection. And so in order to challenge that, the judge is going to want to say, well, what do you got? Yeah. Well, sure. That, yep. She has to prove she's even allowed. And the thing, but certainly, does she have standing first and foremost? But that's not, you know, I mean, the motion in limine addresses let me see, where'd it go? Oh, the motion in lemonade. Motion in lemonade. Daphne's motion in lemonade. So this is the standing. Okay. Decedent died. Okay. Close friend filed application requesting to be appointed Tri-County Ally Shelter and filed her creditor's objection, alleging to be the creditor of the estate in the appointment and objecting to the appointment of so-and-so. So such person must prove they are a person in the estate. Now, what bar is that? I mean, I don't know. She's going to have to show that somehow there was a pecuniary interest. I mean, she keeps saying that you know, a person who is not interested in the estate would be an interloper or a mere meddlesome intruder. Yeah, seeks to address that first question first. So she has to show that she's owed something. So she's still making, so if she does, if for some reason the judge says if she can scrape together one iota of information that shows that she has standing, then no interest, request for relief, foregoing, request that they yeet. Okay. Lack standing to bring creditor's objection. No evidence showing that. Well-defined motion to yeet. Lack standing to bring her creditors, strike her pleadings and any other appropriate relief. So they're moving to say that she has no standing. Request that upon this hearing, court will grant motion in limine to find she doesn't have a person interested in the state, lacks standing to bring her creditor's objection. So that's two things. No interest. She's not an heir. She's not a relative. She's none of that. Lacks standing, therefore, to bring a creditor's objection. And then asking for them to strike. And any other things that would be appropriate. If for some bizarre reason, the judge says, you know what? I mean, you know, she's alleging these things, right? God, could the court give Tricia a chance to prove this up? I don't know. But I was trying to find that piece that, where'd it go? For some reason, I thought that there was parties may e-file. Okay. So again, from the Dallas County thing, it says contested matters and judicial conferences. If a matter is contested, it is required that the parties confer and attend a mediation. If an agreement cannot be reached, an attorney of record may contact the court to schedule a status conference, scheduling conference before the judge. Procedures, preferences, requirements, small estates, annual accountings, trial settings. Where's the other? Well, I don't know. I mean, she could. I mean, I thought that there might have been an arbitration clause, but maybe not. Yeah, she doesn't have a property right or a claim. I mean, it's, I don't know what she would pull out of her ass. I'm curious what evidence she thinks she has that she's a creditor. I note on an empty cat food box. Right? Yeah. Heir, devisee, sure. Spouse, creditor. So she's trying to position herself as a creditor. And all we've heard are allegations and her having some emails or some text messages. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if what the bar is for determining that will remain to be seen. But it's most decidedly not over. Well, and so the thing about what she would have other than text, I mean, that's going to be a question then. If it gets to that point, how is that going to, I mean, if I was the lawyer, you would have to be ready to go with everything, because let's just say for some bizarre reason, some batshit reason, that, I mean, you've got to have all this ready to go. That, in my thinking, is that you would have to have all of this ready to go, even during the motion in limine hearing, to prove, you have to bring evidence to prove that you have a right to file into this, into the estate, that you are in fact a creditor somehow. But on top of that, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. It could take, this could just be such a rote hearing. It could be nothing. But at the same time, one would think that you would want to be as prepared as possible with whatever evidence. I mean, the judge may look at all of the filings and say, there's something jacked up going on here. Do you have anything to show that A, you're a creditor, and B, that all of these allegations? I mean, who knows? Who knows what judges can judge? And I'm assuming, I mean, I've only ever experienced probate in the most pedestrian sense of having to put a notice in the paper, but this is like a whole other kettle of fish, man. So man, if I was a lawyer for Schmisha, I mean, is he working on contingency? Because I don't know. Ugh. Well, but that's a great question. Why on earth would Tricia's attorney file into this first place if he hadn't seen something? Well, I mean, Tricia's lawyer. I don't know. The thing is that God knows what conversations happened before or I mean, a client has to be 100% honest with their attorney, right? So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it could be a tactic, but it's a hell of a tactic. And the thing is that if she would have, I can't imagine how utilizing any documentation that is found on this phone, which ostensibly is what it sounds like, would be allowable. But I don't know. I'm not sure. But, I mean, I guess in theory that if she showed him a bunch of stuff that looked good and took it on good faith, and that what she was showing him was obtained legitimately, I mean, my God, I would want to think that it would be vetted, but that's going to come out in the wash real soon, I would imagine. Right. So that was the thing. The goosebumps part made me think, is this a contingency guy? But who knows? So this is not, I guess, I'm just going to, oh my God, I've got an actual call I've got to go to. I don't know, man. It's whack-a-doodle. It's whack-a-doodle to me. And I think that it's worth looking at the progression of the filings and the inclusion of, and that's the thing that's bugging me, is the inclusion of the child of Linda Daphne. And that initial, like, that smells like, I imagine talking about a lawyer filing into a case. I imagine that son of Linda Daphne came off of any of the filings because it was a reach. I mean, that first filing feels a lot like spitballing and a lot of allegations and kind of just throwing it out there. But then, as the docket progresses, it's just Linda Daphne. So I don't know. Right. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. You have to remember the degree to which LM and TG have gone for all of this. Yeah, it's crazy. It just feels so weird. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Super weird, right? Yeah, I don't know. But it's, I think that has the disclosure of the phone and the way that it was obtained been disclosed to the lawyer? Who can say? But I mean, is it reasonable to think that maybe, just maybe, he's not keen and hipped into it just yet? I mean, I imagine this fellow's got nothing but a lot of cases. And I wonder how much back and forth there is conversation-wise. And, you know, I don't know. It's so bizarre. And the thing is that if I didn't know anything about anything that happened in her previous life or her previous lives with all of the other things that have come forward, like, I don't know about you, but I don't have a bunch of people randomly filing lawsuits against me for my estate or for, you know, alleged financial impropriety with a joint owned enterprise. And it's just, you know, I just don't. So, and I don't think, I mean, maybe a lot of people do, but that is not my experience in the world. So it just feels very weird, to say the least. And I think that the scrubbing of the platform of videos is noteworthy. I think that the, you know, the hiding of the escapades over to ye old Beth Bee's house, I don't know, man. Woo! Holy crap. And you've been threatened? Yikes. Is it by somebody I know? Was it DB woman? Let's see. Lover of bad puns. I thought it said lover of Brad Pitt. And I'm like, right. No, that's the web sleuth's way. You know, there's so much there. I mean, she is a master manipulator, but I would just like to think that, I don't know, that the lawyer would know better, but I just don't, I don't know, man. Right. So it was DB. I rest my case. So where this is going, who knows, but there is a hearing scheduled and it's been filed into, hang on a second. Just doop, beep, boop, dink, 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 dink. Just checking my, actually, let me see if I can post this. I'm going to share one thing just to bring it all back to Othram. Because, you know, the data mining of it all. There was I don't go on Reddit because it terrifies me. But let's see. Somebody sent me an image of something they found on Reddit from a year ago. And I thought that it is really telling, because, you know, Othram owns Tricia, literally. She's a wholly owned subsidiary of Othram. Congratulations, Othram. So this was from like a year ago, and then I really have to go because I have an actual work adjacent call. So this is from 1 year ago, and it was posted in the Grateful Doe. I don't know who this is. but it says Othram at the top. It says throw away for privacy and to protect myself. Othram bought the family tree DNA database this year. They informed everyone at some point this week that from now on, it will cost genealogists double the cost to use that database for cold cases. It was $700 and now it's $1,400. What bothers me is that this fee will not be charged if Othram uses it for Jane or John Doe's. I assume this is because they own the database. So essentially, every other organization will have to now pay double the cost just to assess the database for matches. This left a bad taste in my mouth personally, and I will be directing my donations to other organizations now that obviously need the funding more substantially. I understand it doesn't rub everyone the same way, but I wanted to share what I saw, and in case it does affect how you donate to these cases. So, so I thought that was interesting because I think it's a good point. And I think that there's certainly a monopoly that's growing up around the spit and spooge of it all, right? So anyway, that is my story. And yeah. And that's it. Please direct any and all questions to websleuths.com. I'm kidding. Don't do that. I got nothing. So I should really, let me put this in the thingy dingy. I was going to just drop the GitHub again. Oh, shit. Here we go. I'm going to drop this, and then everyone should look at it because it's very insightful. So there it is. But, there's also just, keep in mind that there's all the rules and all the procedural crap that's also listed on the Dallas County website, which is really informative. And again, I don't know shit. I really don't. But, and this is Dallas County. So yeah, do all that and all the things. And as always, I hate you all the very least.